Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I was just 18 years old when I was about to climb on what was, at the time, the biggest stage in my life. A stage where I wasn't only going to be judged on how I looked, but also how I acted, how I behaved, my poise, my charisma. And suddenly, everything that could go wrong started going wrong. I cried. I panicked. But it was at that moment I made a decision that I was going to show up and stay in the running to becoming the next most beautiful girl in Nigeria and winning against all odds. Threads of change. Winning against all odds. Igniting change. Believe me when I say that the odds were stacked against me. I was the youngest. I was the most inexperienced. I wasn't the tallest. And I wasn't the shortest. But then, even when the organizers asked the girls, the contestants that were contested, "Oh, what agency did you come from?" The girls would say, "Oh, some prestigious agency." But when they asked yours truly, "What agency did you come from?" I said, "I came from my mommy and my daddy's house. I came from home." Yet, that night, winning ignited the change that has brought me here today. You see, the thing about winning is that it's not always about talent or luck. Sometimes it's about strategy. Today, I'll be sharing with you 3 pillars that I use and I believe that you can use as well to win against all odds and ignite change in your life for a positive future. On the day of the pageant, I had waited in line for 3 hours to get my makeup done. And it was, there were 3 makeup artists and there were 24 girls. So there was one major makeup artist who was so popular at the time, and I was excited to have my makeup done by him. So I waited patiently in line for 3 hours. And it was a normal queue, and he finished doing the girl's makeup, and he skipped me to the next girl. I looked at him and said, "No, but it's my turn." And he looked at me dead in the eyes and said, "I'm not doing your makeup." I asked why, but he ignored me. But I knew why. You see, I wasn't the perfect canvas. I didn't have the flawless face. I had a lot of acne on my face. As a matter of fact, the girl that he had just finished doing her makeup, she was so flawless that everybody thought she was going to win. Even I thought she was going to win. I pleaded and I begged him, "Do my makeup." You see, he had spent 3 hours doing her makeup, 20 minutes on the average doing other people's makeup. And then, so after begging him, he just put the powder on my face. He said, "Okay, put the powder on my face," brushed my eyebrows, and continued with the girl. 3 hours doing this girl's makeup, 20 hours on an average on other girls, but he spent less than 1 minute on my face. I summoned all the dignity I had left in me, ran to a corner, and just started crying. But then it was at that moment I made the choice to stay broken or to just carry on. I took my little makeup bag, did what I could because I was terrible at makeup at the time, and I proceeded on stage with girls that had clean, professionally done makeup. But I had terrible, unprofessionally done makeup. That night, I won the most beautiful girl in Nigeria pageant. The same year, I went on to win the Miss Tourism International pageant. And I also won the International Ukraine Odessa pageant. I had 3 crowns in 1 year, and I represented Nigeria at the Miss World pageant. You see, the thing about winning is that it never looks like it's going to happen, especially when the odds are against you. I didn't win because it was a perfect night. I won because I decided to embrace my reality and move forward. Which brings me to the 3 pillars I'll be talking about. The first pillar is to embrace your reality. You see, the journey of the pageant had started weeks before that day, and a friend had told me to escort her to audition for the pageant. I reluctantly escorted her. And when we got there, we sat down, with the girls, and everybody were gisting. And when it was time for the auditions, the organizers came and said, "All right, visitors and parents, please move to the back." So I got up and proceeded to go to the back. As I was going, the girls looked at me and said, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, I just escorted my friend. I'm going to wait at the back." And they said, "Oh, thank God." As I walked away, I wondered, why were they so relieved? I stood at the back with the parents and guests, as a guest. And while I stood, the parents would come and meet me. "Young lady, are you not supposed to be part of the auditions?" And I'll say, "No, I just followed my friend. I just escorted her. She's auditioning." And they will keep coming until they all decided to persuade me, the parents of the girls that were auditioning. I said, "How much is the form?" The form was 6,000 naira. It just happened that I had the exact amount of money in my pocket, 6,000 naira, which was a lot for a student back then. But I decided me and my friends would go out and do some shopping after the audition. I bought the form and auditioned that day. I went through the first audition, second audition, third audition, fourth audition over the next 4 weeks. And before I knew it, I was a contestant in the running to become the next most beautiful girl in Nigeria. Sometimes that opportunity that we're resisted is the opportunity that would ignite change in our lives. The world is sometimes whispering to you. The question is, are you listening? For me, what were the whispers? The girls were whispering, "Wow, she's beautiful. She's enough." But I didn't hear. The parents were whispering, "You look like you should be there. You should do it. You can't do it." And on top of that, I had the exact 6,000 naira to buy the form. Could it be that the universe was aligning to my favor? But I was stuck in my own head, in the idea that I did not deserve it, I was not enough, or that I escorted a friend I wanted to encourage to do the pageant. So I ask you the question, what has the world been whispering to you? Do you feel like you're not enough, or do you feel like what you have isn't enough to go through that challenge, or to go through that venture, or walk a path? You'll be surprised that when you embrace your reality, change can come. With the story of the makeup artist, I took my makeup bag and did what I could. The odds were clearly against me because there was nobody going to do my makeup. It's a pageant. Your face has to be great. But I embraced my reality by doing what I could with what I had, even if I lacked the experience. Which takes me to my second point, which is to acquire knowledge and skill. You see, During the pageant, you go from top 15 to 10, top 10, and to top 5. And the top 5 was the interview segment. Now, in this interview segment, what the judges did not know was that prior to that, I had spent the past 5 years in front of the TV, writing down questions in any pageant that I watched. So I would catch a pageant, wait for the top 5, and write down the questions. Just because I just wanted to know. It was the most exciting time. You got to hear the contestants finally after seeing their beauty. So by the end of 5 years, I had my very own Beauty Queen past question booklet. I still had the exercise book after years. So backstage, I read through it, went up for the top 5, and I'll tell you, at the time, I thought I was just an extra in the top 5. I thought they just put me there to, add the numbers. So when I answered my question, it was nothing to me. I had read, I had knowledge. I answered brilliantly, and I got a standing ovation. The crowd went wild. You see, in our quest for knowledge, we don't understand the weapon that knowledge is. Could it be that opportunity that you have been waiting for to level up has come? And when the opportunity came, could it be that it met your unpreparedness? For me, the popular saying, my opportunity met my preparation. I had no idea I was ever going to take part in a pageant. But I have this quest of acquiring knowledge. Even now, years after becoming a beauty queen, I realized that what got me here can't get me here. With the beauty, the poise, the charisma, all of that. So I acquired knowledge. I have a thirst for knowledge. I've done different certifications, product management, Scrum Master, SAFe, all of that. Did my master's in environmental management. Even went to London College of Fashion, studied fashion. And I've studied in different continents of the world. Because one day, an opportunity might come. And I need to be diverse in my knowledge. Some of us just want to stick to one thing, but explore, have a flavor of knowledge. Elon Musk of SpaceX, he had no knowledge about rocket science, but he consulted experts, he read a lot of books, and now he has a Fortune 500 company. Nelson Mandela was in prison for 27 years, and while he was in prison, he studied law. When he got out of prison, he was called to lead a divided nation. Him having read law in prison helped him meet that opportunity. So, remember, knowledge is a weapon. And I often say, the difference between me and the richest man in Africa, Dangote, is knowledge. It just may be that if I knew what he knows, I may be the richest woman in Africa. Which brings me to my last point. Take action and don't give up. You see, even if I had gone through 4 auditions and I had become a contestant, my friend had to spend 6 hours convincing me to still take part in the pageant because I thought, oh yes, even if I went through the auditions, I'm not going to go do the main pageant. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know any of the organizers. I didn't have a designer. I didn't know anything. But we had a phone number, and my friend convinced me to call that number. It was the number of a big fashion designer in Nigeria. And so, after 6 hours, I said, okay, and I picked up the phone and I called. I said, good afternoon, sir. My name is Omowunmi Akinnifesi, and I want you to make a dress for me because I'm going through with Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria pageant, and I'm going to win. There was dead silence on the phone. He said, okay, come to my store. So I went to his store. And he made a beautiful dress for me from scratch. Usually back then, you rent dresses. But then he had spent weeks making a dress for me. So later on in life, I asked him that, why did you decide to make the dress for me? He said, you sounded very convincing on the phone. You had a lot of confidence. That was what 6 hours does. The 6 hours of convincing. So I ask you today, have you asked? Have you taken the courage to ask for what you want? Have you taken a step forward to do the needful? J.K. Rowling, with her Harry Potter manuscript, got rejected 12 times. Thomas Edison, as we all know, failed at creating the light bulb 10,000 times. I went through the audition 4 times, and I still wanted to give up. How many times have you tried? Do we try once, twice? Have you tried 10 times? Have you tried 50 times to do that thing that you desire? So I'll ask you a question. What does winning against all odds mean to you? Is it switching careers? Is it switching a job? Is it breaking that limiting belief or that barrier you think about yourself? Is it removing yourself from the mold and expectations of people and deciding to walk your own path? I leave you with a quote by Jackson Brown Jr. Never let the odds keep you from something you know in your heart you should be doing. Thank you.